Hey, I'm Josiah, and I've been working on recumbents and trikes for the last 15 years. I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use. You can see I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground, which is actually how I work on trikes most of the time. Probably not real good for the back, and I have a pretty slouchy neck because of that. But no regrets. Anyway, let's get into it. So first off, I got my Vera Allen keys. These have a really strong steel and will never round out or strip out like a park tool or something with softer metal. So I really love these. I've got tin all the way down to 1.5 millimeter. This is my Stan's valve core removal tool. I always put sealant in the tubes here in Colorado because otherwise you'll get a flat right away. This end does a Presta valve, this end does a Schrader valve, and so it makes it easy to get the sealant inside of there. I always have two of them because they're real easy to lose. This is my Milwaukee measuring tape. It's a really good measuring tape that has metric and inches on it, and it goes up to 6 feet, which is usually all I need. This is my Bursman pedal wrench, also a really hard metal. You can still see that I've used this enough where it's still slightly chipped the edges, and so I'll probably get a new one here pretty soon. I've been using this quite a while. This is Pedro's the hammer, and you can see, as the name suggests, that it is indeed a hammer. This end is a mallet, and this end is for getting some real serious business done. This is my Felco cable housing cutter. It cuts derailleur and brake housing really easily, and then it also cuts the cables nice and clean. This is one of the better cable cutters out there. There's a lot of really crappy ones that chip at the edges, but these continue to cut really nicely. This is a Park Tool crank puller that I use quite often when I'm doing motor installs on trikes or other bikes, and I use it all the time. You can see this end detaches for larger diameter spindles, so it's interchangeable. It's a nice little pair of tweezers. It's got two ends, and I use this for mostly getting splinters out of my fingers, actually. This is a mini screwdriver with tiny little bits inside of it, and most of the time I'm using this on small electronic things with little bitty screws. And you can see it's a State Farm brand, so you know it's gonna last. It's super insured, obviously. This is a Park Tool chainring removal tool, and if you've been in the industry long enough, you know that these tools are total pieces of shit, and they don't work very well, and but they are necessary because unfortunately a lot of chain rings are still designed with this little holder on the back. Not the best thing out there, but it is necessary for changing chain rings. This is a pair of jewelry crimps, which is perfect for crimping the cable end tips on the end of cables. And although these look almost identical, this is a pair of flush cutters, which I use for cutting zip ties usually. Every serious mechanic kit seems to have a pair of these, and this is actually my first pair of these, but you can see what's awesome about these Nipex pliers is that as you're using them, the jaws stay parallel. It also has a ton of leverage, and this thing will it can actually push the pin in on a chain, which is not what it was designed for, but it's just so freaking strong and good that it'll do it. This is a Vera speed screwdriver, ratcheting screwdriver. You can see that it changes directions. And then, oh man, where are the bits? Boom, right there where you need them. Look at all that. I got a 3 through a 5 in there. I got a flathead and 2 sizes of Phillips in there, which is what I use most of the time. This is one of my favorite new tools that I've gotten from Vera. This is super unique to them. And you can see it says 10 to 13 millimeters. That's because it's a self-adjusting ratcheting wrench set. And so you get this on a bolt and it adjusts automatically to the size of the bolt within that range. You'll even do non-metric sizes, which is really awesome. So I can, with just 4 of these, I can do a full range of bolt sizes or nut sizes. This is probably my favorite tool. This is the Cyclop speed ratchet. And you can see it has an angle adjustable head, so it can be used as a screwdriver as well. It's a 3/8 driver, and it has a few angles you can put it at. You can even put it at a slight angle like that, or do it like this for full power. I've got a few extensions for that. And then what's really cool is it has these locking holster that I've embedded into the Kaizen foam, and so you just twist that to get it out. That's an 8 millimeter through a 19 millimeter. I probably could have gone away with this 12 millimeter, but since it completes the set, I left it in there. I've pretty much never once in my career used a 12 millimeter on anything. And here is my Pro Tool mini bike pump. And this thing's great because it folds out, you can put your foot on it, and it functions like a full-size bike pump, but you've got a nice long hose so you don't stress your valve out while you're pumping the tires up. This is a Milwaukee knife that Kirk got me. This knife, actually. Thank you, Kirk. I really like this thing because you can open it with one hand and close it with one hand. The blade's super easy to replace. And then back at this end, you can see there's a little string cutter back here. So sometimes you don't have to open it at all if you're just cutting something like that. This is a set of Vera tire levers. Vera actually isn't a bike tool company, but they recently started making really great bike tools. I have used these and they work really great. I've been a big fan of Pedro's tire levers for a long time. If you know tire levers, they're eventually destined to break. I'm sure I'm going to break these eventually. One thing that is pretty cool, you see this little schloop-de-doop down here? That actually releases the pressure on a Schrader valve. And so pretty neat little design. They lock together and they go right in here. This is my Titan mini ratchet, which you can see has a variety of angles that you can use. It's a 1/4 inch driver. And then I keep all my little bits that I might use for it right next to it here. This is a Wolf Tooth Masterlink plier, and this is kind of the smallest set of Masterlink pliers you can get. I've got a 10-speed and 11-speed set of quick links in here, and that's what I'm using most of the time on things. This is a set of folding scissors, which are really sharp and powerful and great. I use these all the time for cutting bar tape or cutting silicone tape, which I use all the time. So that's really handy. This is a trike industry tool that if you work on trikes, you got to have this. It's an extending magnet, and I use this for pulling the chain through the chain tube on a trike, so I don't have to spend 20 minutes fishing it through there like a dum-dum. And so definitely have to have this, use it all the time. This is my Bursman chain breaker. You can see it gets a lot of heavy use. I pretty much use this multiple times a day, and it's a real workhorse. I would have gotten an Abbey tool chain breaker, but I'm not wealthy, and so I got this really great tool and I use it all the time. Up here, my my Vera Torx set, and this is a T8 through a T40, and so I can do pretty much all sizes of Torx with that. That pretty much sums it up. I'm gonna do the next layer on another video. Thanks for watching.